Hello, Happy New Year. I hope you're all okay. I hope you've had a lovely, lovely Christmas. I hope you've had lots of lovely times with your family and you've been able to see friends and stay safe. I hope that Father Christmas brought you some lovely presents and that you've managed to have a good play with some new stuff. I'll show you what I've had for Christmas because I was quite excited when I saw this box. And it took me ages, and I do hope I don't drop it when I move it to show you. There we go. That is the International Space Station made of Lego, which I built over the Christmas holiday. And it was a lot of fun, and it's falling apart in my hands right now. So I'm going to put it down, out of the way, now that I've shared that with you. I hope you had some lovely Christmas presents as well. And maybe when I see you around school, when you're on the playgrounds, you might tell me what they are, just like I've shared mine with you. Well, I'm not like sharing it with you because I'm not going to give it to you, but I've shared what it is. So what are we going to do in our assembly today? Well, we are going to share some stuff that we're doing in school. So all of the teachers and the teaching assistants and the governors got together a little while ago, and we talked about what we want to do at Wincham and what sort of things are really important to us so that it makes the school a really fantastic place for you guys. And I'm going to share that with you now. So this is called, the posh name for this is our mission statement. Now, what that means is this is kind of what we do, and it ties in all of our global goals. And our mission statement is we all aim to be responsible local, national and global citizens. Okay, and that's thinking about how our global goals affect what we do on a day-to-day basis. And the bottom bit in yellow that says together we learn, grow and dream. That's what's important for all of us. All of the stuff that we do in school is about learning, growing as a person, and then dreaming. Now, it's not sitting there while your teacher goes, well, let's do 7 times 8 children, and you're going, whoa. It's about dreaming how we can make the world a better place. Somebody has dreamt that they could cure COVID, and they made these vaccines that were amazing, or they made these booster jabs, and they helped us. They learned stuff about science, they grew as people, and they dreamt of how to solve a problem, and they went out and did it. Okay? Somebody, hundreds of years ago, dreamt about this way to make things go fast, to get from one place to the other, really, really fast. And that's how the first motor engine was made. Somebody looked up at the sky and thought, there's a big grey thing in the sky, a big grey silvery thing. I wonder what it is. And then that was where the idea of traveling to the moon became a thing. So it's about dreaming and thinking of how we can solve a problem by being inventive, being creative. And it fits with all of our global goals as well, because all of these are important to us, and we talk a lot in school about our global goals. So this mission statement takes all of those ideas and kind of sums it up. It's about dreaming how we can solve poverty, or dreaming how we can think about renewable energy. What can we do to make things even better, even more environmentally friendly? How can we think about reduced inequalities? We know everybody is welcome at Wincham. But we also know from learning about history, from learning about people like Rosa Parks, like Martin Luther King, that that wasn't always the case. Okay, that people of colour weren't always welcome everywhere. So again, we've got these fantastic people, these dreamers, who have thought about how we can improve our world. And that's what we think you guys can do. You might dream and think about a way to make the world a better place. So learning, because we know that learning stuff is really cool. If you learn something, then you are a better person than you were the day before. You are really cool. Every time you learn something new, you get cleverer, and that is a pretty amazing thing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a story today, because obviously we love a book at Wincham. And particularly, I really love these Little People, Big Dreams books. I think they're really, really cool. And this is about a guy called Albert Einstein. Okay. Einstein was a fantastic person. He was amazingly clever, but he really did not like school. He got all sorts of amazing ideas, but he found just doing stuff at school really difficult. And despite that, he dreamed about really big stuff. And that was the exciting thing. That was what made him such a fantastic person. So let's have a look at Einstein's story. So once upon a time, there was a little Jewish boy born in Germany who took 4 years to say his first words. Now, a lot of children will say their first words much, much younger than that. But it didn't look like Albert Einstein was going to cope very well with these things. His name was Albert, and for some time, his little sister, Maya, was his only friend. No one else had enough patience to wait for him to talk. That's really sad. Albert was 5 when his father gave him a pocket compass, which instantly became his favourite toy. There was something magical in that magnetic needle. It always pointed north. And he wanted to learn how it worked. So there you go. So Einstein is already, as a 5-year-old, looking at the world around him and being curious. How does this work? Let's learn about it. So we've got famous people who are doing exactly what we do in school. School was a bit of a nightmare for Albert. But back home, he loved diving into a pile of physics and maths books, trying to prove theories on his own. And by the time he was a teenager, he'd published his first scientific paper. That's pretty cool. That is pretty amazing, isn't it? That Einstein really struggled in school. He struggled with his reading and his writing. He found it really, really difficult. But he still managed, and he was coming up with all sorts of amazing ideas when he was a teenager. And after studying maths and physics in Switzerland, Albert got a job at a patent office. In this place, amazing new inventions were recorded, but none were as groundbreaking as the idea he was working on at home. So he's taken his learning. Remember, we've got learn, grow, and dream. He's taken his learning, and rather than just sitting there with a bunch of knowledge and not doing anything with it, he's got this idea that he's working on at home. So he's growing as a person. He's doing his job, he's doing his work, and he's doing other stuff outside of school. He's growing, and he's dreaming about what could be possible. Albert was a bit disorganized, but inside that brain of his thoughts were in perfect order. He came up with a formula that said anything we can see and touch can be turned into energy, and it became the most famous formula in the world. E equals mc squared. Okay, and this is Albert's big dream, that he could organize all of the ways of working, that energy anything can be turned into energy using that formula. That was his dream, that he organized all of those things in his head in that way. And his curiosity led him to explore space and time by mixing 2 original ideas, and he turned physics upside down with his theory of relativity. And when he was proven right on an experiment, every university in the world wanted to meet this scruffy physicist. So somebody whose thoughts are all who may seem really disorganized, may seem really scruffy. You look at the guy and think, do you know what? He does not have a clue, but actually it's all going on up there. It might be that he found school really difficult because he was so focused on something else. Just because you find school difficult doesn't mean that you can't be absolutely amazing doing something else. You might be like Einstein. You might come up with these amazing ideas. If you remember, we learn. When we learn, we grow. And then we can take what we know and we can dream about something different. That's what Einstein did. Albert was awarded a Nobel Prize for discovering photons, the tiny particles that light is made of. And still, he didn't attend the ceremony. He was busy traveling from place to place, sharing his knowledge with other scientists and important thinkers. Every country in the world received Albert with honour, but back home a very different welcome awaited him. The Nazis had taken control of Germany. They planned to get rid of anyone who wasn't like them, especially Jewish people. very sad part of history. And it wasn't just Albert who was in danger, but also many of his colleagues. And before moving to America with his family, he convinced governments and universities to hire Jewish scientists. And thanks to him, they could leave Germany too. So not just was he using his brain to develop people's understanding of the world, he was using that to look at that global goal of reduced inequalities to help keep other Jewish people safe. When the war broke out in Europe, Albert feared the Nazis would use his discoveries to create the most terrible weapon in the world, a nuclear bomb. He sent a letter warning the President of the United States. He always regretted signing that letter. It led to the United States making their own nuclear bomb. Albert had always stood for peace and thought science should only be used to do good. That's why he refused to be involved in the creation of such a weapon. He became an American citizen. He loved his new home. Still, he felt terrible about how the country had treated his black fellow citizens. Whenever he could, he wrote against racism and used his fame to speak out about it. And by always questioning everything, little Albert became one of the most original minds of the 20th century, a genius who proved to the world that curiosity and imagination are more important than knowledge. So we've got some pictures of Albert Einstein. They're a bit small, but he's a very, very famous person and a very cool guy. If you think about what we've just learnt about, if you think about all of those things that Albert Einstein did, no matter how hard he found school, he still continued learning with the things that he was interested in. He learned. He grew as a person throughout his life. He continued to do things, and not only to do with that one field, to learn all about physics and maths and all of that sort of stuff, but he used all of what he knew, all of his fame, to help look after other people and to say that racism is wrong, that people should be treated equally, that it doesn't matter what color your skin is or what religion you follow, that everybody should be treated the same. So he grew as a person and developed that and helped look after other people in that way. So he learned, he grew, and he dreamt, he created all of those things. And without Einstein, we wouldn't understand space in the way that we do. We wouldn't understand the world in the way that we do. So he's a pretty amazing person. Every single one of you sat there, including all of the adults in the room, are all amazing people because you have all learned something today. So you are now cleverer than you were when you came into school. Okay, that's pretty cool in itself. By the end of the day, you will be even cleverer than you are now. That's really cool as well. So you are learning and you are growing. So the next step is to dream. And that's how we think about our global goals. How are we making the world a better place? By concentrating on the global goals as we go through our day, we make the world a better place and we are learning, growing and dreaming. So that's the end of our assembly for today. It's a bit of a funny week because we're starting on a Wednesday, so we're going to finish on Friday. So you guys are only in school for 3 days. The teachers have been in school on Tuesday. Some people are in school working. Some people, like me, are working from home. And because of that, I'm going to do another assembly tomorrow and another assembly on Friday. And I'm going to use one of the Little People's Big Dreams books each day about somebody like Einstein who has learned and grown and dreamt and been a pretty cool person, just like you can be, just because the books are really cool and I like reading books to you. So have a lovely rest of the day, guys. I'm really glad to see everybody back in school. I hope everybody's feeling okay and ready to learn and to be amazing. Have a lovely, lovely rest of the day. Bye-bye.